Hi, it's Lori from Coast to Coast Craft Girls, coming to you from the West Coast. Today I wanted to share sort of a double tower card. It's actually a nice 360 card. It's the same from both sides, or it's beautiful from both sides. It stands up, really pretty. And it does fold flat to mail. I mean, it's big, so you'd need a box. I guess when it's flat, it's 7 by 8. But when it's standing up, it's 5 by 7. So you definitely need a box or something in it, but I'm going to hand deliver it, so I don't care. But love it, love it, love it. It's not that hard to make, but it is really pretty. So let me show you how it's made. So we're going to start with our floral image. And I stamped this. This is the Alta New Sweet Lilies outline stamp. And then there's a stencil set that goes with it. And I'm going to go ahead and stencil this to start with. I've already done one, so that's why there's already ink on my stencil. And I'm going to do the flowers in a combination of sort of a purpley blue, this alpine aster and crystal violet for these flowers. And the lilies are going to be in yellow. Okay, so I finished coloring that, and then I used the die to die cut it out, and I actually have done 2 of them. So I'm going to set those to one side, and I'm going to build my card. So we're going to start by building the towers that go on each side. Okay, and so this piece of card is 4 3/4 by 7. And I scored every inch, so 1, 2, 3, and 4, because this is a glue tab. And you're just gonna fold it up and create these little squares, okay? So take your 3/4 inch glue tab, or you can make it a half, whatever you wanna do. But I like 3/4 just because it makes it nice and sturdy. And you should be able to flatten it both directions if you scored straight, okay? And then I'm going to go ahead and put my matte layers on. And I've just got some printed cardstock that's about 7/8 of an inch wide. and about 6 7/8 high, so just about 1/8 of an inch off. And I'm going to go ahead and glue that on to each of the 4 sides. Okay, so there's, and I've got 2. I've done 2. So there's my 2 columns. So they look like that. They're 1 inch wide, or 1 inch square columns by 7 inches high. Then I've got 4 strips of card that are 1.5 inches. So they're 1.5 by 8.5, and I scored at 5 and at 8. Okay, and I've got 4 of them. And the reason I've got 4 of them is because I'm going to build little the tops and the top and the bottom. So these are going to, because I didn't have that wide a card, so these are going to glue on here like that and like that to create my top and my bottom. Okay, now I've got my top and my bottom done. Now I'm going to glue my columns in like that on the top, on the bottom, or at each end. And you want to get it just sort of even in the middle. So this is 3 and this is 1. So I'm going to use my glass mat and I can line it up. Okay. So I've got this on my glass mat. It doesn't have to be perfect, but I'll spin it around and do the same thing on the other side. And we want those to get good and dry before we do the top. So I'm going to let that sit for a minute. And you can, kind of fold it down carefully if you want. But I'm just going to kind of hold that for a second here. Make sure that glue gets a good grab. Okay. And then I'm going to do the same thing on this end. And that's going to essentially create my card. And then it's just about decorating. And there's essentially your card base. And my flowers are going to go in the middle, mounted onto each side, just kind of about like that. Okay, and you're not, because of these, the tops and the bottoms flowers, you could use a smaller flower if you wanted. I'm just going to kind of angle it a little bit, but you're not going to see all of the flowers, and I'm okay with that. But we're just going to glue it on like that. And then I've got my happy birthday sentiment, and I'm going to put a piece of acetate here to glue my sentiment on. And I've got one for each side. So let me get some acetate. To adhere acetate, I always do a combination of double-sided adhesive and wet glue. So we're going to put it in there and raise it up. Oh, I should have put my flowers in first. Shoot. Okay, well, I have to do it now. I said I was going to do that, put my flowers in first, and then I didn't do it. Okay, so there's my flowers. This side, I'm going to do my flowers before I put my acetate in. And my card actually does fold down. I'm going to go ahead and put my sentiment on here. Right onto my acetate over the top of my flowers. And there we go. We're all done. So fun, and I just think it's so pretty. It looks so pretty. Love it. Well, thanks for watching.